Good morning and welcome. Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe Jaquint and Jason Walker on this Thursday. Our toll-free number. And you know what? Get ready to dial because we've got a fantastic opportunity this morning. Getting ready for a digital currency, that barterable material. We got something coming for you. 800-951-0592, the website at allamericangold.com, and we got a rally here in gold and silver. Gold's up almost 20 right now, 16.45. Silver right up at $19. The Dow is higher, as well as the equivalent of the President of the United States in the UK, the Prime Minister. She's been on the job a whopping 44 days. Of course, we know about all the issues. This is how powerful the bankers really are. Jason, she stepped down today.
Uh-oh. That sounds like a job that nobody wants, Joe.
She stepped down today, and I'm like, oh, that can't be good. But then you go, look, guess what? The pound's up. The British bond yields were falling. Like, no, this is a good thing, right? Now, remember, her government, they were coming in and going to cut taxes and provide inflation relief and all that stuff. Lost control of the currency. 44 days, and out the door she goes. That's what this tells you. Don't cross the central banks, because if you do, you may not have your job. All eyes on the yen. 149.9 right now. It has hit 150. That is the lowest. Think about this. 150 yen to the dollar. That's how weak it is. This is the weakest the Japanese yen has been, Jason, going all the way back to 1990. And the Japanese central bank has already said we're not raising rates. They either had a meeting today or next week. I can't remember which. But they've already said, hey, look, no rate hikes coming from Japan. The yen, it looks like, despite the best efforts by the Japanese, this is a currency headed for crisis.
1990, that's about the same time frame when stuff started becoming made in China instead of made in Japan. So maybe it's going to be made in Japan again, Joe. Maybe that's where we're headed.
Boy, I'll tell you what.
It fits the
how low can the yen go? I mean,
geopolitically, geopolitically, that would make sense, wouldn't it? If you're going to divide up this world with them versus us, Russia, China versus the West, well, Japan could then manufacture again, right?
I guess that's the one thing when you look at a weak currency. What's the only advantage? And that is, hey, we can manufacture things for less. The problem, though, for Japan is it's an island, right? So it still needs a lot of the raw materials to be imported in, which, of course, as your currency collapses, importing things becomes a lot more expensive. So maybe yes and no. Obviously, they have the infrastructure to do it. It just depends, cars, things of that nature they manufacture there. But we'll have to wait and see. Like I said, I think there's a lot of pain for all of the currencies out there. But I just found it astonishing this morning that Liz Truss, the UK Prime Minister, 44 days on the job, has stepped down after they were unable to reach any budget agreement. Essentially, everybody in England said, we've got no confidence in you because the central bank has lost faith in you, and out you go, Jason.
Yeah, that's right. And talking currencies, Joe, it's interesting. It is a world system already for the most part. And if there's ever such a thing as less yen, then there's more dollars. And if there's less dollars for some reason, there'd be more yuans. And if there's less rubles, there'll be more euros, right? If you look at it as a one big pile, it's always growing. It is a worldwide Ponzi scheme. There's central banks all over, Joe. So it's interesting when one currency is worth less. Well, it's only compared to other currencies. So I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if the yen went down to 200 to 1, Joe, and then hey, start making stuff there. And hey, we're the enemy of China, but China's going to give us those raw materials you were just talking about, just quietly. Taiwan will bring those chips in.
It's going to be really, really interesting to see how it all plays out. When we get back, we heard from Ally Financial. Ally, a big part of the automobile industry. We'll hear what they have to say about how the consumer is looking. Jobless claims, no help. No help once again. Only 214,000 people lined up for the first time for unemployment. And Jason, again, this is another one of these indicators that says, hey, the rate's got to go a lot higher. But then we did get, they call it the leading economic indicators. And this thing is, it's not a very good measure of anything. But it did flash recession signals for the first time in, I don't even know, like going back to, if you eliminate the shutdown of the economy, if you throw that couple of months out, for the first time in years, that signaled that a recession was imminent, and that did get between the UK Prime Minister stepping down and that got gold and silver running this morning.
Yeah, it's nice for it to catch up and finally see that there's already a recession going on, Joe. it's already here, so I'm glad they caught up.
Better late than never, right? 800-951-0592. We've got a Silver Eagle package. You heard me right. And we'll be the cheapest in the country with it when we get back. 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour, Joe and Jason, and we've got another great special today. And this one really having to do, we had some sellers finally emerge. You know, people forget, right, Jason? We buy and sell. So if you ever have, and we buy just about anything. If it's gold or we don't do the jewelry thing. You know, we don't do the scrap stuff. But if you have bars or coins, even if it's the stuff that we don't sell, chances are we'll at least bid on it, Jason.
That is right. And we in 2022, there's been quite a bit of both sellers and buyers for Patriot Trading Group. And don't be, a lot of people feel this like shame or this guilt. Oh no, I have to sell this stuff. And it's a really easy process. There really is no guilt. You have this stuff so that when you need it, you can use it. And when you need to use it, you bring it to us, right? That's our function as we have these physical offices, is for you to bring your money in, your actual real gold and silver money, and get those things taken care of. A daughter's wedding, your son's going to college, any kind of emergency expense like a deductible on a roof or something. Come in, you call us up, we set the price, you bring the metals in, and you get paid. And that's an important part of what we do, Joe.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's how we ended up with some Silver Eagles that we're going to sell in this package. Multiple dollars below anybody out there. And then we had a $5 Liberty opportunity that we had bought a couple weeks ago. And here's what's interesting. Gold was $30 higher when we bought it. $5 Liberties gold has fallen $30. Our cost on $5 Liberties has risen $30. It's incredible. And Jason, we're seeing this in the entire fractional market. And we consider the fractional market to be silver, right? Whether it's junk silver, Silver Eagles, whatever that may be. And then your fractional gold, the 10th ounce gold Eagle, and the $5 Liberty. That's kind of what we consider here at Patriot, that fractional barterable material. And so we're able to put together, we've got 40 packages where you're going to get a roll of Silver Eagles, so 21 ounce Silver Eagles, and a $5 Liberty So this is that quarter ounce piece, 1866 to 1907. This is going to be one of these foundational packages, Jason, that people are going to need when that digital currency gets here. Especially, let's not forget, because I brought it to you yesterday about what the IMF was saying, the power that the government was going to have once the digital currencies were essentially the money of the land. And they started talking about the government able to program, able to tell you, hey, you can only buy food with this money, or you can only pay your rent with this money. You're only allowed to buy X amount of whatever it may be, any type of carbon emission type product. Jason, we're going to see limits on all that stuff.
I agree, absolutely. You got to be careful with your own home finance situation. I mean, really, there's never been, that I can tell from what I've been looking at this, a worse time to be having a lot of debt. This is just a really bad time. I wasn't an adult in the 70s. That was a bad time to be having a lot of debt. And the one way that you can prevent yourself in the future from having debt, Joe, is you buy stuff like gold and silver. And this is why I said don't be shy when it comes to selling back to us. Hey, at least you can sell your gold and silver back to us. You don't have to open a credit card to get things paid for.
You know what's so funny is so precise. The worst time to have a lot of debt is when rates are high, right? And this has been the problem. Janet Yellen saying, let's go big, right? Spend it all up. Well, that was great when rates were zero. Not great now. By the way, the Cato Institute has come out after that IMF statement and said that essentially the new central bank digital currencies, and I quote, will allow the government to precisely control what people can and cannot spend their money on. It's just that simple, and believe me, they're going to make sure we beg for it. Because I know what a lot of people out there are thinking. Well, we're not going to do that. We're not going to let them do that. And as we always know, right, Jason? During a crisis, a lot of people are hurting, people are desperate. They'll sign up for anything that they perceive. Hey, this is how we're going to save you. And by the way, if you go for this, hey, we're going to put a bunch of extra credits in your account.
Yeah, I know, Joe. It's that addictive fiat currency. I mean, it's more addictive than any drug out there because this is what you have to use to exist as trading for goods and services. However, it's always being devalued constantly since 1913, especially being devalued since 1971. And, those that understand how it works, you put it into something that holds its value. Cash is necessary for exchange. Unfortunately, it's a bad form of currency, but that's what we've got.
Right. Well,
get out of it, Joe. Get out of it.
This special here, Silver Eagle rolls, $700. That's $35 an ounce. We went out and searched online everywhere. If you buy like 1,500 ounces, you could buy it for like $37.50. Most places, a roll of Silver Eagles, $38, $39, $40. In this package, they're $700. The $5 Liberty. Think about this. To Jason's point, in 1907, this was worth $5. 1966, $5. Every year in between it, $5. All the way, really, up until 1933, this coin was worth $5.
Yep.
We've got this thing discounted right now. They're $5.75 normally. We've got it discounted $25 in this package at $550. And this is the problem, as Jason was saying, about fiat currencies. So the whole package together, it's only $1,250. This is an absolute steal. Both of these items, priced well below market here. We only have 40 of them. That is it at 800-951-0592. And just to give you an idea, when we sell the 40 here, the Silver Eagles, they're $760. You're saving $60 with us, and we were already one of the cheapest at $38, Jason. In this package, we are heating this thing up.
So I got two things to say about this. The first one is
the cheapest Silver Eagles in the world.
Absolutely, and then you get the cheap gold along with it. And last Friday, Joe and I came out with some really cheap silver rounds, and I used a term which I'll only use once in a while, but 2 weeks in a row, I'll just say it. This is one of those that if you got the bread, it's unintelligent not to take advantage of this. It's just not smart. If you're a gold or silver buyer, and if you're a gold and silver buyer for this one, it's just not smart. It's unintelligent not to jump in when we can get this cheap. You got to get it, Joe.
Listen, it's a must-have. And again, they knew they were going to do this in 07 and 08. We didn't have it figured out yet. You know, when we were talking, when I first got to Patriot, we were still talking like an Amero, right? Remember the Amero? They were probably laughing, right? Because they were like, man, we forgot about the Amero when we created the Euro. We were never doing that. I just believe, Jason, they've known probably for 25 years that this was ultimately where they wanted to go with this digital currency controlling everything. The need to have real money, never more important. It's always been important. But with no more cash, because that's what's going to happen, the dollar's going to zero, the yen's going to zero, the pound sterling's going to zero, the euro's going to zero, and it's going to be replaced with this digital money, and the government's going to tell us exactly how we can and cannot spend our money, Jason. And you're not going to have, listen, the $100 bills in the mattress, that 6-month supply of cash in the safe is going to be completely worthless.
You know, essentially the dollar's gone to zero twice. You know, we were bankrupt in 1933 officially, and in actual law and documents, bankrupt. And then in 1971, that's another bankruptcy. That means zero, Joe. That means you're worth zero. You have nothing that has value. They had to reset things. They had to change what the dollar was. It still was a dollar. There were still paper dollars flipping around. But they essentially hit zero, and they changed it and rebuilt the value into something different. Like, in the 70s, we ended up with at the end of the 70s, the petrodollar. They had to get something behind it to actually give it value again. But it was bankrupt. It was worth nothing, really. It was still a currency, Joe, but it really has already been bankrupt twice. So we're heading for that again. It's happening again. This time, all the world's currencies are tied to each other through these cartel of central banks, and it's all going to zero. Now, they're still going to call it a dollar, Joe, but what is it? A digital dollar, a digital yuan, values versus each other, right? It's just like a magic trick. We're going to name it the dollar, but it's not the same dollar. We're going to have a different dollar, Joe.
Yep, and again, you're seeing it already. All these places that you can't accept cash. You know, I'll give you a great example. Last weekend, in Scottsdale, there was an Italian festival. Me and my wife, let's go. You know, of course, it was raining, and then there was a break in the rain, and we had 3 or 4 hours before it was going to downpour again. So we went down there, and we just wanted, we want to pay cash for tickets. And they're like, well, don't just buy them with your phone because you'll save $10. Well, we're like, well, we don't want to. We just want to pay cash. Well, they didn't even have the ability to take the cash, so they forced you to use the phone. All the food and drinks, nope, can't use cash. You gotta put it on your card, Jason. It's coming. It's obvious it's coming, and again, the government's going to be in picking winners and losers, and believe me when I tell you, you want to make sure you have this fractional material, because let me tell you right now, they are buying it like nuts out there. We've been talking about it. Now, we're going on 2 years where supplies have been super limited. And think about it right now. Premiums are at record highs, Jason. It just tells you this is where the people that are in the know are buying it all.
Yeah, I mean, gold is hundreds of dollars above spot. I mean, I remember Joe talking about when gold was racing up to $1,900 in 2011, talking about certain gold products that they had to put on the air. Eric and Joe was $300 or $400 above spot because the premiums were so outrageous. And Joe sure feels like we're heading for another one of those situations where gold and silver go racing up.
Well, it's higher now. Think about it, right? We got gold here, $1,640, $1,645, $20 gold piece, $2,075.
Yep.
Right, and again, there's and that's better than what's happening in the silver market. So we got 40 packages, $1,250, 800-951-0592. When we get back, auto lending giant Ally Financial says, I know that the consumer, they keep saying they're in good shape, but that's not what it looks like to Ally. I'll tell you what they said, plus what Ford and Carmack said.
Like, no,
800-951-0592. This is a prepared package for the digital currency that is coming. You are going to need things to barter with because it's not going to be cash. I'm telling you right now, it is out the door. And right now we got a roll of Silver Eagles and a $5 Liberty, $1,250. We've got 35 packages left. I actually am surprised we have that many. I really didn't think when we started the show this morning that we would have any by the time the show got over. This is how good of a deal this truly is. Gold and silver up today as the UK Prime Minister has been forced to resign. The Japanese yen the Japanese doing all they can to try not to lose control. We had first-time jobless claims, no help to the Fed. Leading economic indicators say recession is coming, and we keep getting these mixed signals out there. Ally Financial said that they just released disappointing third-quarter results, saying that fewer and fewer people are taking out new loans to buy vehicles. Ally shares fell 8%. Said that credit is starting to crack. The latest sign, another one of these red flags we looked at. By the way, we got official existing home sale numbers. They were not good. We kind of previewed this yesterday, and now Ally saying, hey, car sales are absolutely starting to crack. Ford Motor continues to say costs continue to escalate. So when we talk about new vehicles, Jason, things are continuing to go up, and we keep getting these reports about, hey, used vehicle prices are starting to fall. Yet we had Ramsey Auto Group on the Half Empty Cup yesterday. They're saying no, they haven't. I ran out of space to a guy. He does, he sells 10, 12 cars at any one time. He's just a small little used car guy. He's telling me the same exact thing. He goes, it's really weird. The Kelly Blue Book is lowering these prices. He goes, but when you go to these auctions, Jason, you can't buy them for those prices. He goes, nothing has gone down at all.
I think it basically set it up that 2 weeks ago, he said, well, a brand new standard truck, $51,000, or you go to Ramsey Auto and you get a used one for $25,000. I think what you're seeing, Joe, is there are still car buying necessary to make things work, but it's like, well, first of all, I can't even finance the thing at $51,000.
That's the problem.
Most people can't. There's nobody out there that's really just going on and just here's $25,000. I'm going to buy the used car outright. The vast majority of buyers aren't in that position, Joe. And
how about Jeff Bezos yesterday? He says that the economy, he used the words on the economy, it's time to start battening down the hatches as he is concerned about what is going to be coming for the holiday season and into 2023. We've heard the same thing. Jamie Dimon said the same thing. But then on the other hand, Bank of America CEO Brian Moynihan said, well, the consumer's still in good shape, but are they really? If they're not buying a home and they're not buying a car, are they really in good shape?
Yeah, no, Joe, no, and
right?
Yeah. You know, let me. You were talking about barter, and let me say something. I wanted to. We got cut off at the break. I don't believe that we're going to ever see an outright barter system. I mean, that's fire in the streets and the end of civilization. I don't see a barter. I've said this to a lot of the customers, but barter will still exist. And I want to go back to what Joe was talking about. He's trying to just pay cash, okay, to take care of going and doing the things he wants to do. It's not easy to do that. I've done this before, but it's not easy. When you go to a place and it's like, we don't take cash. If you have some silver on you, you can, but the thing is people don't understand silver as much now. I'll tell you right now, we get to this digital currency, Joe, people are going to start to really quick understand the value of things. And if you
absolutely, because, listen, they're taking cash away. That's all I'm telling you. And again, they're going to use this digital currency. They're going to prevent you from buying certain things or limit what you can buy. And that's what I'm saying. You're going to have to barter for, hey, I need a whole case of 223 ammo. Well, you're not going to be allowed to go buy. You're not going to go down to Warriors Revolution because they're going to say, well, with the digital currency, I'm sorry, I'm only allowed to sell you 2 boxes. And by the way, you can come back in 90 days and I can sell you another 2 boxes. Right? This is what I'm saying. This is what you're going to need to barter for.
And Joe, there's another thing. You can barter for privacy. So you go to this, whatever you're going to, and they say, no cash. We don't take cash, Obviously, we're going to go to a world where there's no cash. So it's like, okay, hand the card over. Well, let's say you're going to a thing, and maybe you don't want the powers to be to know that you're indulging in whatever it is you're going to. Well, you hand the guy some silver. Like, would you pay for my service for me, which would then be off his digital currency? Here's a piece of silver. Just let me into the concert. And then the powers that be don't know that you went into the concert, Joe, because Joe Schmo.
I think all of that. Listen, they're going to create all of those scenarios, and again, already, or they may. Yeah, you know what? We're going to go ahead and you can go ahead and buy that ammo. You can go ahead and buy that gun. But we are now putting you in the system, right? Yep. You are going to be tracked and monitored, and there's going to be people out there that, hey, I'm going to find a way to not be tracked and monitored, and that's going to be the way.
That's a way to barter your privacy. I mean, I think bartering privacy is going to be the future when digital currency comes, Joe. I think there's going to be a lot of guys that are buying the silver now. This don't be unintelligent, buy it, $1,250 for a roll of silver and a $5 gold piece. This is where that stuff's going to shine very brightly in the future, Joe.
Oh, I mean, I can see it already. I mean, and I know a lot of our listeners out there are already shaking their head saying, yep, that's exactly right. And whether it's limiting or putting you on the list, right, all of those things, that's what's coming with those digital currencies. And why I think we're seeing this huge push into what I call the barterable metal, obviously silver, and then on the fractional gold, 10th-ounce gold eagles, which how many times have we say, hey, sorry, they're unavailable, can't get them. Right, and then the $5 liberties. Look at we've said the same thing with them and how expensive. Listen, gold fell $30, yet the price for $5 liberties went up $30. It's insane, Jason.
Absolutely, Joe. And I'll say this in the future, as scarce as it's getting now, can you imagine with the digital currency, that guy in the line that hey, I don't want proof that I'm buying this. He's going to see that ounce of silver come out of your pocket. He'll pay. He'll get his little digital card out. He'll pay for it. And you slip him that ounce of silver. It's absolutely coming. Hey, we're going to be right back. This is the Patriot Radio News Hour.
800-951-0592. The Silver Eagle $5 Liberty. Be able to barter when the digital currency comes special It's $1,250, and both of them are priced way below, especially the Silver Eagles here at $700. $3, $4, $5 less than everybody else out there. Take advantage of it. We've got like 30 of them left now, so we're already through 25% of them. We just don't have that many because we got this on a fluke. We had a couple of sellers, and then we just got lucky on the $5 Liberties. Bought a bunch of them a week and a half ago, and all of a sudden the price has just gone completely in the other direction. So got those are $25 off. So the $700 for the roll of silver, $550 on that $5 lib. The package $1,250 at 800-951-0592. Here's something else, man. I just don't know how this ends, Jay. Every time I turn around, healthcare providers. I mean, health insurance went crazy this year. I mean, the increases, at least for me and my wife and our plant, it's ridiculous. They're now saying get ready because copays, premiums, and prices ahead of the open enrollment. They're saying that those of you that had, your open enrollment last year, those rates were set all before the inflation data was available. They're saying that this year there's going to be another huge price increase in health care. They're saying that they're expecting the highest annual jump in health care going back to 1993, if you can believe that. I mean, just incredible. They're talking about health care premiums, depending on which plans, you could see increase. Ready for this? Up to 28%. I mean, that you're talking about, that may be the highest health premiums increase ever. The CPI right now is saying that healthcare premiums are only up 2% month over month, but they're bracing. They want people to be aware because this is open enrollment period now. Be aware for increases that will be north of 10%, according to Pfizer. And in some areas, Jason, it could be even more than that.
Yeah, I'll have to get Anita McAllister to come in and talk about some of this stuff too. But yeah, well, you said 2% month over month. If you go take that through the course of a year, I mean, it gets kind of close to that 28%. I mean, doesn't that 28% seem
2.1% month over month? That's 25%. I'm not buying this 10% number. I'm going to tell you that right now. I don't buy it at all.
Well, that 28%, Joe, that sure seems closer to real inflation, doesn't it?
Doesn't it?
Yep.
Doesn't it?
Yep.
Right? And again, there's no hiding from this. They're talking about other things. Well, listen, we're only going to raise your premium 10%. But by the way, we're going to take your copay. Right? Let's just say your copay was $20. Well, it's now $35. Right? Your copay was $35. It's now $50. Right? They're going to be raising all these other fees. They're going to be raising your minimum, your prescription drug payments they're going to get their 25% one way or the other, Jason.
Right. And then here in America, we're always paying way, way more for this to begin with. I mean, you go to another country, Joe, it's a lot less expensive. But, let's face it, the medical industry doesn't have the advantage of, like, the tech industry. The tech industry has, you build things cheaper, you build them faster, you do it with machines, right? And you can keep the cost down. When it comes to medical, you have to have people, you have services, you have facilities you have to pay for. Then, of course, you got all the stuff that goes along with medical treatment. There's no way to cut corners right now. I'm not sure they want the robot doctors, Joe, in the future, but they just don't really exist today.
Man, look at this. Margarine's up 32% year over year.
Yeah.
Specialty margarines are up 44%. Butter is up 27%. This is all, and of course, this is government data, so I imagine how much it really gets. But what they're saying is the reason for these skyrocketing prices, some of it apparently Ukraine it does a lot in this area. They're saying that the vegetable oils, a key ingredient in margarine, all of these things. And again, how high do interest rates really have to go to get this under control? And that's really the problem.
I think inflation is going to be high next year. That's why I think rate hikes continue on into 2023. There's a little piece in the back of my head, Joe, that thinks that this thing is very, very severe, and so they're cooking up a major emergency in the near future, and then then they can blame the emergency on the inflation that doesn't stop. And if that happens, you could have rates going up all next year. I know everyone wants to say, well, it's going to stop somewhere. Well, we don't know that. I mean, I keep going back to that New York Fed chief saying that in June it'll be 6.8. Well, 6.8 that's still a massive number, Joe, in June of next year.
Oh, my Lord. Listen to this. Wow. Last week we did that story about GE was cutting its inland wind. Apparently, continued supply chain disruptions and high cost of wind turbines are now making investing in wind energy a bad idea. Oh, what in the heck is going on? Just like we told you, it's just not possible. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back with the final segment. 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour, our barter special of probably the week, the month, probably the year. Roll of Silver Eagles and a $5 Liberty at $1,250, 800-951-0592. And Social Security, you're going to get an 8.7% increase. This is going to start, I want to say January 1st. And now they're saying, Jason, this increase is going to lead to even more inflation. They're saying, listen, when inflation's high, people are supposed to be cutting back. That's the only way to get it lower. We keep giving them more money. So, by the way, Social Security, last 2 years, 14.6. Let's just round up 15%. That's a good idea of the bare minimum. How much they've devalued the dollar in just 2 years.
It's not nearly enough. It's not nearly enough.
Cents, and really, you probably lost 30. Right? I mean, really.
Yep. Yeah, that's not nearly enough to keep up. The people are falling. That 8%, Joe, that's not enough. That's not enough for people to keep up. And as soon as you talked about wind turbines, I was remembering the graveyard of wind turbine fins there in Casper, Wyoming. It cost $250,000 for one of the three fins to be buried because you can't recycle them.
Is that not the craziest story? They're now saying the cost to build the turbines makes it to where it's not even worth doing.
I'm seeing videos right now in front of me. When the wind gets to be too much, if they don't turn them off or other things, the wind breaks the turbines over and they fall down. And some of them, the engines blow up. They blow up, Joe. It's just spinning too fast or something, and the thing blows up, and the wind actually makes the big tall wind turbine just buckle and break over. It's what a disaster.
Look at this ridiculousness. This is how bad a bill trying to make its way through Congress. That would allow the United States to sue OPEC for antitrust behavior and market manipulation. And what a joke. We can be pumping as much oil as we want, and yet you guys make it so we can't pump any. But somehow you want to make a bill that we can sue OPEC? What is going on? This is the incentive. Why do you need to buy these packages? Well, look at this nonsense.
I don't think OPEC is going to really care about that lawsuit. What do you think, Joe? I don't think that works that way, does it?
Yeah, right.
I don't think it works that way. Hey, we're going to pass something that looks really cool, like we're going to really protect America. But
and again, this is right. We want to tell everybody what to do. Hey, listen, we get to do what we want, but you do what we tell you. Here we are. I thought we were fighting climate change, and apparently, again, it just tells you what a joke it really is. Right? Because if it was really that bad, they would be applauding OPEC cutting oil, not the other way around. I mean, and again, I think this is just a bunch of nonsense. They just want the headline more than anything else.
And from what you just read, what little energy the wind turbines was providing, well, it looks like there's going to be less of that, too, just to add on to that less energy pool that we're talking about every day, Joe.
800-951-0592 is the guy that I refer to as Dr. Evil, Jeff Bezos, saying, yeah, you better batten down the hatches. I think that guy would probably know, right, Jay? If anybody would know, it'd probably be that guy.
Yeah, I'm sure he's already taken care of all his finances for the near future, Joe. I'm sure he's well taken care of.
I'm pretty sure he's going to be okay. 800-951-0592.